So I was brought in today to really talk about, how we can embrace a new economy. I don't know if you guys are probably already feeling this, but you can kind of see like there's kind of a nervous energy everywhere you go. Grocery store, work, home, everyone's kind of like on the edge. And, as we think about that for ourselves, we have two choices. We can either embrace it or we can resist it, right? Because we have to think about the things that we can control as human beings. And so many times we're trying to control other things in this life that we really can't. And I try to look at it like thinking about, I pulled two quotes that I thought were interesting. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And I never thought a cloud was so dark that I couldn't find a silver lining. And so it's really not just about inspiration and optimism, but it's also about thinking about how it's uncertain for all of us. It's different for all of us. We get fear, we get uncertainty, we get uncomfortableness, we get stress, some anxiety. And I'm certainly not trying to downplay, what's happening, but we really have to think about how we can stay well throughout this whole journey. Because, like I said, it's affecting everybody, no matter who you are, where you work, or what you're doing, in every household. Some of the new economy results, basically what happens is when you start to feel too much anxiety and too much fear, your health starts to break down. People start to get sick a little bit more. Relationships deteriorate either at home or work because everyone's stressed and, have a tendency to fight a little bit. Emotional plague. So, how can we stay well and really think about ourselves along this journey that we're going to take? I like to say wellness is an active process bringing awareness to who we are and what we do in each one of these aspects. I have clients that come to me and they say, I just want, work-life balance. I just want to de-stress. I just need to figure out how to, manage my emotions. Well, whatever that could be for you, sometimes we can take one of these components and figure out, what part of my life am I least satisfied with? So, back to knowing you live with your thoughts. So here's a few different, photos of I'm not pretty, not good enough, not enough time, I'm in debt, suffering. And even when you say all those things to yourself, you kind of it feels bad. Doesn't it just feel bad? So your thoughts can lead to your feelings, and your feelings create your actions. So it's important to know that, there's things that's happening outside, but what's really happening to us in our minds. So when I work with clients, I help them realign their thoughts to create the things that they want for themselves. Because it's all about feeling good, right? Sometimes we don't really know the thought that's creating such a bad feeling, but we always know how we feel, right? Oh, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm stressed. We always know that. And so this one says, be careful what your thoughts are. Shape your life, friends, family, live your best life, smile. So it's just something to really take some time to think about. Because our thoughts are very powerful more than we realize. And sometimes it's not always just a specific thought. It's all about, we want to feel good. It's all about feeling good. And the effects of stress are, illness, anything from high blood pressure to heart disease. The list goes on, and I won't repeat it, but our immune system and our bodies have a tendency to start breaking down, right? From the stress. Our relationships get strained. We're absent from work. Sometimes there's a tendency to have high turnover. Well, at this point, how do you guys know when you are stressed? Are we listening to our bodies? How do we know?
Sometimes you have headaches, tension headaches.
Sometimes you have headaches.
Not in your back.
Not in your back. Snappy. Our attitudes change. So I think it's important to realize that our minds are powerful and they're smart, but sometimes they'll lie to us. And our bodies will always tell the truth. Your body will always tell the truth for your life. And I thought this was interesting. I found some data that I wanted to share on, big stresses versus small stressors. And what they found was the smaller stressors in our everyday life were much more damaging and powerful than the larger stressors. I thought that was interesting. It's all those little things that are happening that cause most damage to our bodies. And know that after each episode of feeling stress, even after the fact, 1,400 chemical reactions are still going off in your body, creating more damage even after the actual episode. And we think about personal power, and I love to talk about this just because it's important to understand, what is that? It might be different for every human being, but the one thing I do know is it's our own personal ability to really feel confident and know we can get past something. That we are able to control a situation. It's our ability to find the resources to get past a challenge. That is our own personal power. So small ways to reduce stress. I know Henderson's going to talk a little bit more about some other things, but I thought it was key to kind of put some things in your mind now to think about what you can do. Anything that you do that can be creative for you, which is different for everybody, is always going to reduce your stress. And whether that means you play an instrument, whether that means you garden, cook, I don't know, parachute, whatever it is that makes you feel creative, it always reduces stress. And then motivation, I have 3 things that I wanted to share with you guys, 3 tips. Morning fuel, what is morning fuel? It's really taking the first 10 minutes of your day and doing anything that makes you feel good. Anything that makes you happy, anything that just empowers you. Maybe it's not just drinking a cup of coffee. Maybe it's, walking your dog. Maybe it's just doing something active. Maybe it's reading a book. Whatever that makes you feel empowered, then I think it's key to think about when you're trying to start something new, any kind of new endeavor. And then gratefulness. Gratefulness is, I think, a huge thing, just because it creates a shift in energy. When I work with clients, I always ask them to start a gratitude journal if they want to, because what happens is you write one thing down each day that you're grateful for, and by the 30th day, we've all been grateful. The first 10 things, like my family, my friends, my health, you get to the 30th day and you realize, what, I'm becoming more grateful for even the small things. So, if that's one step you can do, it's a great motivation piece, because it has a shift, it does create a shift in energy, and that's all you really need. A shift in energy, a shift in perspective. So keys for handling job stress, I had a few specific things just to share real quick, and it's, find meaning and purpose in your work. Accomplish one thing every day that has high value for you. Be aware of your thoughts. Just being aware of them is really empowering. Having goals and writing them down and really being specific about them. Create turtle steps for change. So many times, like I said, when I gave you the example of, running a marathon, we always want to go out and accomplish something and have it the very next day, don't we? We're such an impatient society. I want it now. But when you're trying to create something long term, it's so important to start off small. Decision versus action. I was reading this book one time and it said, there were 6 frogs on a lily pad and one decides to jump. And how many frogs are left on the lily pad? Well, there's still 6 frogs on the lily pad, because just because you make a decision to do something doesn't mean you're taking the action to make it happen. So really think about how you can apply that to your life, or to a certain area of your life that you're really trying to improve. And then be the change you want to see in the world. I love this just because we're so busy trying to tell everybody what to do all the time and judging everybody. The only thing that we can do is change ourselves. We have to make a choice to change ourselves and really want that, right? Because like we said earlier, we can't really control anything else. But think of this as, self-growth. Like, what? We're all growing. We're all growing in different areas, and some of us need to grow in areas that you don't need to. But it's not our job to judge that. And that was really the last slide. And I don't know if you guys have any questions right now, but I think the key thing I wanted to be able to share with you today is to really take one thing that you thought was compelling, or that really you thought was impactful, and really take that and see how you can apply it. Whether it's from your thoughts, whether it's taking action, or whether it's just trying to create change for yourself. I really think it's, important to keep inspiration in your life too, and to realize that we cannot change anything that's happening, but we can change how we approach it. Because we're all in this together, right?